Kaizen Investor, 7 weeks in a row at number 1. Do we think it'll last? Our hottest takes, as well as the latest and greatest on SOFI, Bitcoin, the playoff cut line, and much more in this week's rendition of SFL Weekly.
Let's start off with the latest SOFI news. Last quarter, SOFI added 1 million new members, now totaling 13.7 million members. It was also their first billion-dollar quarter, and they guided for $4.6 billion in revenue for fiscal year 2026. SOFI is set to announce their quarter one earnings on April 29th, and analysts are expecting revenue of around $1 billion in revenue, which would represent 36% year-over-year growth and an EPS estimate of 12 cents. If they do hit around their estimates, that would be the first step into getting to their fiscal year 2026 goals. On April 2nd, SOFI announced their launch of Big Business Banking. Big Business Banking is a specialized platform for large companies that allows them to manage both traditional cash and digital assets like crypto. What is special about this is that it allows large companies to manage financial assets all in one place and move money 24/7. Modern banks typically still operate on a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday schedule, so this flexibility that SOFI is allowing their customers to have could prove to be a competitive advantage over legacy banks. A central feature of this platform is SOFI USD stablecoin, which is used for instant settlements and conversion between fiat and digital assets within the bank. Now, I love Robinhood and the strides that they've been making with Robinhood banking, but I think the financial sector is large enough for both companies to win, and SOFI has been looking impressive recently. I'm curious which company our FSL users would rather own in their portfolio. Drop in the comments below if you plan on drafting this stock in your portfolio. If you already own it, comment your cost basis.
That's a good bit on SOFI there, Charles. Now let's head over to Bitcoin and talk about that for a minute. If we look at the Bitcoin exchange and balances over at CoinGlass here, you'll see that the balance of Bitcoin that's just one click away essentially from being sold is just going down and down. And the price will eventually catch up and go up with that. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. So as long as there's less for sale and more people buying, the price will eventually go up. And if we go over to a post by Hodl 15 Capital, he shows all the Bitcoin demand. And he has the top 100 public companies who own Bitcoin. And you got MicroStrategy, 780,000. Jack Mallers, 21, own 43,000. And both of them are buying thousands a week. And you see it come, they added 21,000 just this week alone, the top 100 companies. And there's only 3,100 Bitcoins coming into existence every week. So that's an 18,000 imbalance in the supply and demand factor. The price really has only one way to go. And the supply and demand is the real elephant in the room that no one wants to talk about. As the US keeps printing more and more US dollars, there's still only 21 million Bitcoin. So when you price 21 million Bitcoin in an unlimited supply of US dollars, as long as adoption keeps going up, which we see on the Bitcoin 100 top companies, the price really has nowhere to go but up.
Now, let's take a look at each of our power rankings for this week. World rankings aside, these are the people that me and Theta think are the top contenders in the league right now.
Whoa, Charles, I noticed there you have Kaizen at number 2. 7 weeks in a row isn't good enough to be number 1 in your power rankings?
No.
Can't wait to hear this one.
No. So last week,
Too much?
I mentioned the strength of Finn Stockinger's portfolio, and let's be real, Kaizen is only at the top spot of FSL World Rankings because he's been able to play in 2 divisions. He gets more points. Finn Stockinger will literally win his division, his first division, and my money is on him to do it twice. Now, let's keep moving down my power rankings and take a look at the Master X5, who I really want to talk about, and I put him at the number 3 spot of my world rankings, or my power rankings, and I'll tell you why. Earlier today, I spoke about both Robinhood and SOFI being strong contenders in the financial technology space. Well, this guy owns both, and they are the highest weighting of his portfolio. And as you can see, it's worked out pretty well for him. Hood giving him a 40% return, and SOFI giving him a 24% gain. Of the 10 players who own SOFI and FSL, the Master X5 actually drafted SOFI at the lowest cost basis of everyone, pretty much catching the bottom at around $15. Along with SOFI, the Master X5 also owns some popular names, Uber, IBM, and McDonald's. So this is a portfolio I'll be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I have to disagree with you at number 1. I got Kaizen right where he should be. 7 weeks in a row. How can you not? A few other names I have on my list that I don't see on yours, which seems kind of crazy, is Finance K9 and Chill Investing. We'll take a look at all three of those portfolios. All right, if we head over to the world number one and number one in my power rankings, Kaizen Investor, you'll see after a second place finish in his first division, he is currently sitting in first, with just 38 days left in the Wolf of Wall Streeters division. And if you look at some of his picks, it makes sense. His top three picks are up 13%, 58%, 62%. So he knows something that we don't know. And if you look over at his world rank history, the lowest the guy's ever seen is 14th. Most people haven't even sniffed that high in their entire career. At top for 7 straight weeks. And I don't see that ending anytime soon. If we look at number 3 in my power rankings, we got the Finance K9. And I'll tell you why. If you want to sort it by return here, we can look, and 5 of his 10 picks have a 20% return. I don't think anyone else in the league can say that. And then number 6 in my power rankings is Chill Investing. If you look at his top 3 picks, he's got a data center, a bank that you like and everyone else on the internet does, and a semi-play up 41%. And if you look over his world rank history, it's been nothing but a vertical line up, and I don't see that ending anytime soon. I've been reading a lot of his posts on X, and I like what he's got to say. And if we head over to our feature portfolio of the week here, we got Optioneer in Growth Stock Gauntlets division, currently up 5%, sitting in 5th place. What catches your eye, Charles, with this portfolio?
Yeah, Data. Well, I noticed he owns SOFI and he owns Hood, and he also owns Novo Nordisk and HIMS. Now, HIMS is what really catches my eye. On April 15th, news came out that the US government is starting the process of reassessing restrictions on certain peptides. Now, what role does HIMS have to play in this? They actually acquired a peptide manufacturing facility in California last February. Now, on this news, the stock reacted immediately, and they're up 50% in the past week. HIMS has been trying to expand beyond just telehealth and into weight loss and newer treatments. Earlier this year, they had issues tied to GLP-1 drugs and regulatory pressure, so this peptide angle could be another path for their growth. Now, nothing's finalized yet. The FDA still has to review everything. What I think is funny is their relationship with Novo Nordisk, as many of you know, is very choppy. In February 9th, Novo Nordisk sued Hims and Hers for selling compounded versions of Novo's Wegovy GLP-1s. And then in early March, Novo dropped the lawsuit. And then now, as in late March, the partnership goes live and Hims starts actually selling Novo Nordisk's FDA-approved drugs. So they start selling Wegovy and Ozempic on their platform. That'd be an interesting thing to see how that will make an impact on Hims' his overall revenue and Optioneer's portfolio if HIMS continues to do well.
Yeah, Charles, that'll be interesting to watch. The Novo Nordisk and HIMS relationship is rockier than my cousin's and his wife's. If you look, Optioneer is peaking up at the right time. Just 34 days left in the division, and after sitting in 12th for far too long, he's up to 5th place and moving the right direction.
All right, Data, what's your hot take?
My hot take for the league: the year of Kaizen comes crashing down with an early exit in the first round of the playoffs. What do you got, Charles?
I got anti-bear thesis making playoffs. He's actually currently not in the cut at, I believe, 97 on world rankings, but I think he has some hidden talent here. A lot of his picks have worked out really well, and he has NVIDIA, SoFi, and Ethereum all green. All right, really important message before we head off. If you think you know a lot about your stocks and your FSL portfolio and are interested in talking about them, reach out to us at our contact page on our website, fantasystockleague.net, and we can talk about setting up either a live or recorded interview segment where we can go into depth on your picks, overall portfolio, and movement in the FSL rankings.
That's all we got for you this week on FSL Weekly, as the search for the best stock picker on the internet continues.
See ya.
See ya.